Very well, guys. So we're going to get into this final part of the process, and to do that, we actually need to grab the blocking of the volcano and the blade, both of the elements, and we're also going to join them together as well. So Control J. This is going to make a really heavy geometry, as you can see, almost a million polygons. So hopefully this is not going to like cause any issues. We're going to call this we're going to call this like volcano blade. That way we know that this is going to be our new element. There we go. And we already have our high poly and our low poly merged together into this very interesting effect. Now, of course, the density that we have on the volcano is not the same density as what we have on the blade. That's fine. We don't need to have the exact same one, but we need to get closer so that we, like, in essence, so that we can make it blend as much as possible or as easy as possible. We're going to go to wireframe here, and I'm going to delete half of the volcano element right here, or the volcano elements. Oh, let's delete all of the faces. So all of these faces, all of these faces, and there seems to be some other faces right there. That's fine. We'll get rid of those. And there we go. I'm not sure why those faces are not perfectly aligned. Let's align them. So I'm going to go to edge mode, grab all of these edges right here, which should go around the whole thing. And I'm going to hit SX0, and there we go. So that should be it. Cool. So now what we need to do, of course, is we need to jump into the new retopo flow. So I'm going to grab, let's go to solid mode. I'm going to grab the high poly volcano blade height right here, and we're going to go retopo flow and start at active. Let's wait for this thing to finish setting up. There we go. There we go. Of course, we are gonna actually go out of this thing real quick. Let's hide the high polys or the low polys. We don't need. We just need this one. And we do need the blade low because it's the new merge one. So we're gonna go to the options right here, and we're gonna go or jump into retopo flow with this new mesh that we have right here. Let's wait for this to do it. We're not gonna be using symmetry right now. I'll rather just work from this one. Oh, wait, did it not work? Where is it? Blade low. Let's get it out of that thing. There we go. Just Control A and apply all transforms to make sure that we don't have any like weird effects. And as you can see, I can already see some faces that we're not even actually seeing. So if we go to number 3 and we go to wireframe mode, there we go. Oh, there we go. So it's right around there. I'm gonna go to face mode. There we go. And all of those faces we can already delete. Because again, we're not gonna need them for the final blend. Okay, so let's try this again. Let's go to solid mode. Retopo flow. Let's grab the volcano blade height. Again, on this one, I also want to apply transforms. That's important. There we go. So let's do at active. Let's wait for this to set up everything. There we go. So technically, we could start like drawing, as you can see right here, which is what we want. But in this particular case, we're actually going to go out of retopo flow, grab our blade low, go into component mode, and start retopo flow with this component. Let's see if this works properly as expected. And if it does, we're going to be able to start drawing. Why is it not working? I'm really curious why this is not working. Let me get out of this again. I think it's because we have all of this retopo flows. So let's delete those. There we go. Again, let's just make sure that. Let me go here. Start retopo. There we go. That's the one selected. That should be working now. And there we go. Cool. So now what we need to do here is we need to go back to our like poly pen and start like cleaning this up. Like we want to find a way to merge this huge element that we have right here with the blade. So I'm going to go quad only. And for instance, here, I'm just going to go straight into the element right there. This one, for instance, that's a fairly easy try going in there. And here, what we're going to have to take into account are all of these stones that we have, right? Part of the meshes. So for instance, here, I do recommend looping just a little bit. So for instance, this one right here. Again, if we go to polypen, I'm going to go here. And then I'm going to go here. And this way, I'm just capturing the very basic like silhouettes of the elements. So there we go. something like that. So that way, when we see it from the side, all of this, especially again, the big stones, the stones that are really pushing out, they're going to be captured. These small ones that you see right here, we really don't need to capture them. But you know me, guys, I'm a, I'm a really, really like perfectionist kind of guy on this kind of stuff. So if I see something that I know I can do a little bit better, I will do it. So all of these points, they seem to be working perfectly fine. For instance, this guy, let's go all the way to the front. And then from here, we're going to go down. And as you can see, we're going to start creating this sort of edge loops on the stones. This stone, very easy, just a square, by the way. We don't need to make this like super complex. We just need to rise the edges a little bit so that the shadows and everything that we're doing here, they catch the effect a little bit better. And even like triangles like this one's right here are perfectly fine. So something like that, as you can see, it's just pushing a little bit up so we can capture this a little bit better. Let's go from here down, from here up, from here down. If you need to move a couple points, for instance that one, to give ourselves the height that we're needing right here, go for it. There we go. Same like that point right there. Let's push it out because we want to be able to try to capture as much as possible. There's two faces right there that I don't like. It's not that I don't like them, they're just like hidden there. So for instance, this one, we can go straight into the edge loop right there, or the symmetry line. This one, let's go out. And as you can see, we're going to create this very interesting merge. Later on in textures, next chapter, we're already getting really close to it, I'm going to show you a trick that we can do so that when we paint the textures, we don't have to paint this manually, and we just mask this very, very easily. So for instance, here, as you can see, I'm looping around this whole like stone border to make sure that we can capture the new silhouette, or the silhouette of this rock, as nice as possible. There we go. Go. There we go. A little triangle there. When you do this, it's very, very probable that you're not going to get the exact same resolution, or the exact same like unless you like follow everything, like you pause the video and make sure that you follow everything exactly as I'm doing, like every single click. Again, don't worry too much about this. Don't worry too much about like making sure everything is exactly the same. As long as you capture the silhouette, you have a good distribution, and things are flowing in a nice way like what we have right here. That is all you need for your element. So for instance, here things are going to get a little bit tricky. Because we got this very like interesting like triangles over here. But again, the cool thing is that most of these are like flat areas. So we should be able to triangulate a little bit aggressively there. And that should be fine. Same here. For instance, we got the stones. However, this is stones, as you can see right there, they're not really pushing the silhouette that much. So here's where we can start making some decisions of just like ignoring them. So, like, that's fine as long as we just like cover them like this. Okay, like a little bit over them. All of these things are going to be baked. Yes, that's going to make them look flat. If you don't want that, then of course we need to like loop them and create something a little bit more interesting. But in this case, again, I don't feel like we really need to make this more complicated than this should. This one, on the other hand, for instance, this one does deserve to be like raised a little bit. So as you can see, I can go around the main like height of the stone. Go. And that way, when we see the actual object, especially when we see it from the side, this thing's gonna be like pushing out a little bit, which is great. It's gonna look really cool. Again, not every production will allow you to do exactly this, because this is definitely adding way too much geometry to this area. But if you can do it, go for it, because again, you're gonna have a really nice result. And I can't, like literally, I cannot wait to get into textures, because if I love like or if retopology is one of the things that I really enjoy, textures I enjoy even more. So it's gonna be really, really, really fun. Okay, we go from here to here. From here, oh, careful there. For instance, here, see how this is becoming a little bit complicated? So let's just delete this face, simplify it here, even if that means like a triangle over here. Okay, so again, don't overthink, especially for these things that are not characters. We can actually get away with a lot of things that we normally couldn't do with characters. Characters have a specific way in which we retopologize them to make sure that we get the best possible deformation. But weapons, environments, all this sort of things, no need to worry too much. So as you can see, we're going from a really complex element to a really simple one. And actually, I do want to keep this a little bit flatter. That's also going to help me with this sort of effect of things becoming like smoother. So maybe even like this whole like stone right here might be a good idea to just, um, I don't know. I kind of want to like just push it a little bit up. There we go. There we go. If you can't make these things behave the way you want, just add a couple points somewhere else. There we go. That's it. So this big C shape, remember that we sculpted it. It's important that we add it as well. And this is the interesting thing about the production. There's a lot of people out there that are excellent artists and they can make really, really cool like sculpts and things like that. But it's not the same thing to be a like I would say like a traditional 3D artist than to be a production artist. So if you want to be working in video games, in films, in commercials, you are gonna have to do this sort of stuff. And this is like the a lot of people see this as like the boring part of the 3D world. Careful here, very important. Let me delete this face because here, as you can see, that's a big dip. So I do think it's worth it to try to capture that big dip because we're not gonna be doing any more what's the word, any more subdivisions, right? So therefore, careful there. That's a weird face that we got there. We don't have to go all the way to the pit right there, but the closer we can get to it, the better. Okay, so yeah, as I was mentioning, a lot of people don't like to do these things and they just like create very cool looking things or they just do things for 3D printing, for instance. If you're doing 3D printing, we were finished in chapter 2. Like if you're a cosplayer and you want to do this weapon for your cosplay, then all you need is the high poly. That's literally all you need because you just make that an STL, go into your favorite slicer, and you get that ready for 3D print. You don't need to do all of these things that we're doing right here. However, again, as I mentioned, if you want to do video games, then yeah, you're gonna have to go through this process, and it's not super fun all the time. I have grown to enjoy it, but I can understand why people might find this quite boring or not as fun. But again, as I mentioned, we're gonna go into the next part, which is texturing, and texturing is very, very fun. So almost there. Again, let's like this is a point that's already very tense, so I don't want to add like a lot of lines going in here. So to be honest, it's gonna be a lot easier to just delete this face, and then from this point, create a new like square face right there, and from this point, fill in a new square face right there. Again, it's not gonna affect really the shape of the element. And now with this faces, I can continue to capture some of these elements right here. And since this, I think, is going to be the final stone that I'm going to create the rise effect for. So I'm going to rise it up a little bit over there. There we go. Go. And now it's just a matter of like stitching everything else here. All of this is going to be a very, very flat UV, so I'm not concerned about like distortion or anything like that. And that's it. Cool. So let's get out. Let's take a look. Let's do a shade smooth or shade auto smooth. So as you can see, some of them are not going to be perfectly shaded, but that's fine. And we can even try the shade auto smooth. Again, I feel like shade smooth is working very nice. The only like problematic area is this part right here. So I will fix this off camera. I need to check what's going on. I feel like we might have some like some sort of like non-linear elements. I don't know, kind of like feels like there's some extra polys right there that we don't need. Let's try deleting this edge. So I'm gonna right click. I'm just gonna dissolve the edge and dissolve this edge. See, that one did fix the lower portion right there. And then this face, I'm gonna delete the face and then just fill again. There we go. Now I'm gonna go into face. I'm not gonna delete the face, I'm gonna dissolve the face. Let's see if I can do that. No, I can't. But that definitely helps the overall thing. Yes, we have a couple of like weird like shadings here and there, but everything else is looking quite nice. And this is going to be the silhouette that we're going to be seeing in game, so I'm really happy with it. So yeah, that's pretty much it, my friends. We have successfully finished. This is going to be called now Volcano Blade Low. We have successfully finished the low poly like process. This is all that we have done. There are a couple of things that we're going to be, of course, or there's a lot of things that we need to do still. But yeah, this is pretty much it. It seems like I'm missing a couple though. What am I missing? Pommel. Pommel base low. There we go. And the hook, where's the hook? I'm missing my hook. Did I delete it by accident? I feel like I might have deleted the hook by accident. Do we have the... Oh, no, it's right here. It's on the other ones. There we go. There we go. So, yeah, that's it. We are finished. And as you can see, 16,000 triangles. That's perfect. That's even below the average. We still need to, like, duplicate this thing, which is quite high. So, it's probably going to be around 25,000 triangles. And again, for a heroic weapon, for, like, a third-person character game, this is just fine. So I'm going to stop the video right here, guys, and in the next video, we're going to start with chapter 4, and we're going to start with the UV process. We're going to go over some of the UV things that we need to do in order to prepare all of our elements for the potential bakes. So make sure to save, make sure to get to this point. I know it's going to take you a long time. I know that I speed run this, and I try to cover as much as possible, as fast as possible to make it entertaining, but I definitely have done this before, and I know that if this is the first time you're doing retopology, it's going to take a while. Be patient, save often. If you need multiple files because your computer can handle it, that's fine. Do it in multiple files. And yeah, once you get to this point, we're going to be ready to jump onto chapter 4, which is going to be textures. Hang on tight, and I'll see you back on the next video.